And I told somebody a while back, I said, I'm going to start doing some digging. All right. And the digging was, why is A'ja Wilson losing all of her teammates with the Las Vegas Aces? What's going on? Everybody leaving town.
What if I told you that A'ja Wilson completely blew up the Las Vegas Aces? It all began with a single, outrageous statement she made after they lost to the Liberty, which ignited a basketball firestorm. Now, you may be wondering what she could have said to start all of this drama, but buckle up, because we're about to get into the most bizarre WNBA story of the year, and believe me, it only gets wilder from here. This isn't just another botched post-game interview. It's a game changer that's rocking the league. Are you prepared to find out the truth?
Believe it. Let's get to this. No, this is damning. It really is. I got to tell you. You see this quote. Quote, it wasn't a championship locker room. Wow. Wow. Okay.
It's crazy, man. To truly understand what happened, we need to go back a little. Imagine this. The Las Vegas Aces just lost to the New York Liberty, and everyone is devastated. Tensions are high, and then a reporter asks, "Why did you lose?" You might be expecting A'ja to give some corny response about the opposing team playing well or that they need to improve, but she goes and drops this absolute bombshell. She looks the reporter in the eye and says, "Listen to this."
As they fell to the New York Liberty in the semifinals, in an interview with Callie Finn of the Las Vegas Review-Journal on Monday, Wilson acknowledged that her team, quote, fell short of their goal. Quote, it wasn't a championship locker room, Wilson said. I mean, out of the gate, going into training camp, I was like, we ain't got it. Wow.
A'ja continues to babble about what a winning team should sound and look like, likening their locker room to a sinking ship where everyone is scurrying rather than cooperating. And get this, she's quoting her college coach Dawn Staley about these championship vibes or whatever in
here. Staley taught her that a winning team should, quote, look, sound, and feel a certain way. I gotta tell you, there's a lot that one could take out of that right there.
Now imagine yourself in her teammate's position for a moment. You're sitting there, probably still perspiring from the game, trying to process this loss, and your star player is out here essentially saying, you all ain't got what it takes. That must hurt, but this is where things start to get really interesting. As A'ja is talking about championship atmospheres, you have to wonder what's actually happening in that AC's locker room. Is there any drama going on there that we're unaware of, or is the pressure of being defending champions simply too much?
Now, in case you're wondering, I mean, they've lost a bunch of players in a variety of ways. Alicia Clark, gone, out of there. Kate Martin, Tiffany Hayes, they went to the Valkyrie. Sydney Colson went to the Indiana Fever. And Kelsey Plum is gone.
You know how sometimes you say things in the heat of the moment that you don't really mean, and maybe that's what happened here. But man, those words are out there now, and you can't take them back. It's like dropping a match in a room full of gasoline. You never know what might catch fire. And it did, because now everyone in their mother's world is wondering what's really going on behind those locker room doors. And let's be honest, this isn't just any player we're talking about. A'ja Wilson is one of the WNBA's faces, a champion, and an MVP.
Something was amiss right there in that locker room. And you got to wonder, whose fault is that? I mean, is it just me, or is it's supposed to look and sound and feel a certain way?
However, what's really getting people talking is how different this is from what we typically see in the WNBA, where players are generally all about encouraging and supporting one another. To hear someone say, her team doesn't have that championship mentality, is a completely different matter.
Imagine MJ saying this about the Bulls. Don't see a championship locker room? Look in the mirror. That's...
One thing is certain. This isn't the sort of issue that will fade away quickly. Rather, it will loom large over the Aces for some time. And you can expect that everyone will be paying close attention whenever they go onto that court in an attempt to identify any indications of drama or tension.
But, it's the Indiana Fever locker room that's toxic. Yeah, y'all remember those narratives floating around out there? Because I do. That sounds like I knew it. I knew there was something going on in Las Vegas that was causing a problem. I said, I can't remember who it was the other day. I don't think it was Ken. I can't remember. But I told somebody, they mentioned all the players leaving, and I said, something is amiss. Something doesn't smell right. It's not passing the sniff test.
Athletes are typically active on social media, but after A.A. Wilson contributed to the shocking departure of multiple Aces players, she's taking things to a whole new level and going completely dark. Just as the locker room drama reaches its climax, Ozza hits the mute button and makes her Instagram private, seemingly in an attempt to fade from the public eye.
Pull up some of this right here. The A'ja Wilson Twitter account is privated, along with Enrique. And
this is where things get really interesting, though, because while AA is trying to keep quiet, the internet is doing its thing and unearthing old tweets from 2012 that are making waves. We're talking about things AA posted when she was younger, but in the world of professional sports, those old posts can backfire.
A'ja quickly, I'm guessing, deleted her tweets. I went back and looked at Enrique tweets. I believe those was deleted as well. But as you guys can see right here, man, it states A'ja Wilson profile is privated, bro. It's complete.
According to rumors, can you believe that one of A.A. Wilson's previous tweets included offensive remarks that sparked controversy? The internet is in complete disarray over something that one of the WNBA's biggest stars posted in middle school. This has escalated into a larger discussion about how athletes use social media. Players go from being ordinary kids to superstars overnight, and all of a sudden every old post is scrutinized. The WNBA and the Aces are now rushing to offer media training, basically social media 101 for professional athletes, because it's long overdue.
A'ja might have a PR team, bro, because they immediately wiped.
But let's be honest for a moment. Is it fair to criticize Ah for something she tweeted when she was 14? We've all said things we regret, and most of us are fortunate not to have millions of people looking back at our awkward adolescence. Some fans are even defending Wilson, saying that we shouldn't be too hard on her for past posts. This whole situation is like a perfect storm of social media drama, with fans taking sides, the WNBA in full-on crisis mode, and Yo attempting to delete old tweets that are coming back to haunt her. It's like witnessing a live lesson in how not to manage your online presence as a professional athlete.
Online. Now, we know the WNBA, man. I've been saying this. They need media training, media etiquette, PR teams, something. They need something to help navigate these women through this newfound fame, I should say, that they just found themselves into. Because you don't see things like this happen, you know, with other players on the internet. I don't know what the situation is.
However, this is a wake-up call for the entire WNBA. These women are in the spotlight like never before and must be prepared for everything that comes with it. It's not just about A.A. Wilson or the Aces. The league is realizing that they must assist their players in navigating this chaotic world of social media and public scrutiny. They can no longer only concentrate on what occurs on the court.
They don't seem like they're prepared for this level of attention. You know, I just got to keep it real. I mean, down to the media people. I don't even think the media people is ready for this level of attention. Like, you got media people crashing out on YouTubers for making videos. Y'all over there, we're over here. I mean, whatever the case may be, is the W as a whole, you know, we got to talk about this thing as a whole, is not prepared for this level of success.
However, the story doesn't end there. AA then reveals something shocking about the locker room, and you may be wondering, what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, it's like she lit a fire that caused a chain reaction, and players were fleeing the Aces sooner than you could say. Winning squad.
Their entire team. Almost their entire team is gone from last year. They've lost basically everyone. If we want to look at the Vegas Aces team from last year, who's still remaining? The MVP, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray. That is it. And why are...
Before everyone could catch their breath, Alyssa Clark made her way to the Valkyrie. Sydney Cusson turned around and said, "You know what? I'm out too," as Kaya Stokes followed her out the door. It was similar to seeing domino fall. Except instead of tiny plastic pieces, it was great players striking the exit.
You got to understand what players play for. Players play for two things a lot of the time: money or rings, or a chance of winning a ring. If you are a max contract player, you are playing for money. If you are a role player, you're going to play for rings. It's as simple as that.
You may be wondering if this is a coincidence, but here's where it gets really interesting. We're talking about the Aces, who have lost almost every player from the previous season. Can you believe it? The only players still playing are Chelsea Gray and Jack Young, two players from a championship team. And guess what? They are no longer exceptional players.
Chelsea Gray at her peak was unbelievable. I get it. But trying to argue Chelsea Gray is great in the year of 2025 is like trying to argue Chris Paul still an all-star level point guard because his name is Chris Paul. Because some people might have called him the point guard back in the day. I don't know if anyone did. But just because people call her point guard and you can scream point guard every time she makes a pass does not mean Chelsea Gray is an all-star. Not only is Chelsea Gray not an all-star anymore, she's not a starter on a championship winning team.
But it's not just about players leaving. It's also about why they're leaving. For instance, Tiffany Hayes left for a reason other than simply wanting a change of scenery. She left to become the team's star player and top choice. This whole situation is bringing attention to something larger. Players are looking at their careers and saying, hey, what's best for me? I'm prioritizing my own opportunities over sticking with a team that's supposed to be a superstar squad.
Max rights. These other players and other teams, a lot of them, have waived their supermax rights to be able to get players in. Whereas the Aces have two players, are the only team in the W with two players on a supermax. And then two others on a max. So it's really, really tough. It's going to be really tough to build anything around them.
Additionally, some of these players are following the money, which is the elephant in the room. In a league where careers might be short, Sydney Carlson, for example, is expected to earn more with her new squad. Might you blame her? You have to make that money while you can.
Sydney Colson's going to make at least 100k and other stuff, like even which with going to Indiana, which she has lost from like the Aces based on a tourism thing, and who knows, Indiana could be paying their players more than the Aces did with their
However, these players want greater playing time and opportunities to flourish, not just more money. They seem to be saying, yeah, winning is fantastic, but I want to be on the court making it happen.
This is why Sydney Colson and Alicia Clark left. Simply put, is they wanted to win. You might be saying, oh, like if you want to win, why would you ever leave the Aces? Because the Aces aren't that good. Simple as that. The amount of people that are saying, oh, the Aces are like this absolute super team still. Oh, they got Jewel Lloyd. Wow, they got somebody who shoots 26% from 3 and 36% from the field and is like not struggling on rival.